Yo, yo.
Already with the shenanigans.
It's your girl, your favorite sister friend of America, Natalie Michon, along with,
I'm Phoenix Gray.
how did I do all of that? And she said, I'm Phoenix Gray. And my boy, Coach Jarvis, AKA Ghost.
Hey,
What's happening, y'all?
not too much. Pleasure to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
Listen, I'm liking how this hoodie is looking on you. Looks sharp.
You know what? I'm a model for a second. Yeah, I got my GameChangHer hoodie on.
Okay.
It was a long way to get to this hoodie, but I'm not gonna put Natalie on blast on air or live.
Please don't put me on blast.
So, yeah.
But hey, let me tell you something. Game changer. It takes
Get
a
your
strong.
hoodie.
It takes a strong man to wear game.
Absolutely does. However, if you are a man in general, you should have no issue with it.
You know what? You're
Ooh,
right.
Okay. I like that.
You about to come out the gate strong
I
already.
like that.
You gotta come out the gate strong.
Yes. So let's get started because this is the first time we've had a man in our lounge.
Yes.
And we're going to have a good time
Oh,
because not only are you a really good friend of mine, but you're also our producer and our manager on the back end. So we are so grateful because all of this is coming together because of a team effort and because you just get on us on the back. So we wanted to have our Coach Jarvis join us today at the Game Changer podcast in our lounge. So welcome.
I
Welcome,
appreciate it. I
welcome.
appreciate it.
We need to like little clap things.
I know, right? We need to put the little clap hands in the artillery.
AJ, we're gonna have clap hands, clap hands.
Yes, he's clapping actually live, people. But we want the actual virtual clap hands on the next one. But yeah, pleasure to be here. Looking forward to the conversation. Got a lot of things I'm gonna ask you two beautiful women that many people may want to know, and we're gonna go from there.
Sounds good.
Well,
Sounds
let's
like a
go.
plan.
So where do you want to? I'm gonna let you guide. Where do you want to start today?
Okay, so first, for those who are already aware of me, I'm Coach Jarvis, as Natalie said. I'm a serial entrepreneur, kind of a renaissance man. I kind of do a lot. If you want to know more, do your own research, because this is not what this podcast is about. But for you guys, coming into this particular situation with you, the whole concept of game changer, right? For me, actually being a part of it was because of what society is giving us for women right now. And then women want men to be a certain thing when you're not giving us exactly what is needed. As a man, when you want me to be your man. You want emotional intelligence until I give it to you. You want a sound, stable environment until I provide it for you. You want the luxury of being able not to do certain things until there's someone that's able to do it. And then you don't want to allow me to do it. So, me being in the presence of women who were stepping outside of themselves to do something that was bigger than them, and actually, it's no malicious intent, it's no fictitious realms involved with it. The
Right.
paradigm is fully set, and it's about empowerment and financial literacy. Why did you feel like it was important to do this?
I mean, because I wanted to sit back, like, as I was thinking, I love talking to people, and I love being a part of their journey with certain people. And so it's just trying to figure out a way that we could, for a life that I currently live. You know, it's because I don't like where people are trying to give advice or talk about things and live a life that they don't live or portray a life that they don't live. And so coming here to, like, when we were putting together the Game Changer podcast, it was like, no, I'm already a busy mom. And I'm trying to juggle things. I'm trying to get my faith back online. You know, I'm trying to rebuild a connection in my relationship with God. But then I have children, like my babies are in high school, and they're going through their own things. So trying to navigate that, then build an empire, And you know what I mean? So it's like I'm trying to do all of this, but then, when we're building up all of this stuff, it's other stuff in the background that are crumbling.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's why that's where this was born. So Phoenix and I was like, oh no, let's put our feet to the ground. And then let's see where this goes, because there's a lot of things out there to listen to.
Absolutely.
But I don't know if people are really walking the walk. So we're
Yeah.
gonna walk the walk together.
Like that.
Absolutely. And it's funny because I think that as women, we've talked about this before, how challenging it is just being able to say no. We tend to say yes to a lot of things, to our own detriment. And I think that women that watch our podcast will be able to relate to a lot of the things that we share and talk about, because for the most part, we all kind of go through the same thing. We all have the same challenges, the same struggles, and really trying to find the best way to just be it all, while at the same time making sure that we're succeeding at those things that are important for us, right? And it's not always easy. And there are times where one or two things will fall behind or just fall to the wayside because we've just got so much that we're juggling. So, when you asked me to partner with you, it was a no-brainer. I mean, for me, this
I think
is...
I almost made you.
You didn't have to make... I was
told.
right. No. When she came to me, internally, she had mentioned the idea, and I didn't say anything at first, right? But secretly, I was hoping she would say, "Hey, Phoenix," right? So I think maybe a few days went by, and I was excited, and I loved the idea. And then she actually came back, later, and she said, "Hey, I want to, have you partner with me and co-host." And it was like a no-brainer. I immediately said yes.
And really, I had to because see, in emotion, because it's somebody that's close to you and it's a friend.
Right.
And in emotion, you can say, well, come on and go on this journey with me. And then I found myself in other business dealings saying, come on and go on this journey with me.
Right.
And it not be a good journey. It's not a good fit. But I really had to pray about it, you know what I mean? And say, and that was what I did. Because instantly when I knew that she was interested in being a part, I didn't move in emotion. I had to step back and pray and ask God to reveal it to me.
Absolutely.
And then that's how, after time, after the few days, I was like, I want you to be on here with me.
Yeah.
Alignment is very important. Very, very important.
Absolutely. And I want to make sure I address the question specifically that you asked about my interest and my passion
I
in
appreciate it. I was
finance.
going to come back to it. I was
That's
not
how
going to
he
let
is.
you get away.
He wasn't going to forget. He wasn't
Not
going
at
to
all.
forget. So, financial literacy for me is it's close to my heart because I grew up in a family where we weren't taught about finances, right? And I see the impact that it's had on me and my siblings, and I see it in so many other families. And you realize how much of a gap it is, just throughout our whole household, but also in our educational system.
Right.
So, I just want to be able to provide that value and help to bridge that gap between, a lot of our kids that are in school today needing that information, needing to be prepared from a financial aspect before they're out there on their own as adults.
Absolutely. So that was just the icebreaker. If anybody is just watching Game Changer, they should already know why you guys do what you do.
They should.
But for me,
But hey.
I just wanted to, start it off kind of smoothly. Now we get into the good stuff.
See.
What? It's just a conversation.
Don't
You see how already, right? You can tell that a man is not a part of this situation because do you notice they have wine and I don't? Even though I declined my glass, but I just want to put that on blast.
did.
They just gonna disregard.
After Offset, he put his smoothie cup over to the side. So we're like drinking wine and he gonna
Nobody knows that's there though, Natalie.
I do. I'm looking right at
Well,
it.
everybody knows now.
I know, right?
Everybody knows
He's
now.
trying to be all fit.
No, not
No,
trying.
not trying. He is all
Yes,
fit.
yes, all. And
And
you
we're
should.
sipping our
Yeah, they
these-
sipping.
the
They
sugar.
not giving me. No, they not giving me. I drink red wine anyway. Anyway,
We'll have red
So,
wine next time.
we're gonna have an awesome time today because this is gonna be really, really fun. Going into this whole concept of financial literacy and women empowerment, right? it's so many people that are doing this. Something that you said that was very important to me is a lot of people do that talking, but they don't do that walking.
Right.
Something that you said that was very instrumental for me was not the fact that you grew up in a household that had this concept but didn't have it, which made you want to actually move forward. It's kind of coexist with that concept, you know, about the young man. They said one was rich, one was poor, and their father was a drunk. And when asked why did they become what they became, because my dad was a drunk. It's all about the mindset, right? With that being said, weekly when you come to do this podcast, what is your mindset when you sit on this couch, when you're thinking about your audience, when you're thinking about the women that are going to be tuning into this? Because it's a lot of women that are quote unquote empowering women, but they're not empowering women. They're empowering their trauma.
Yeah, I mean, I think my mindset coming in every week is how can I serve?
Beautiful.
You know, what can I give? What value? What can they take away with? Because the goal is to pour out all of me, right? And whatever I can give them to get through today or to get through tomorrow or through the next week is my goal when we come into this lounge, is how can I serve?
Yeah, and I think that for us too, it's all about building a community of women that understand there's a space here for them to be able to collaborate and talk and be with like-minded women that are about the same thing, right? So for us, it's about building that empire, but also making sure that we don't forget our faith, we don't forget to self-care, we don't forget the family, the hubby. And I think that this is what we in turn are looking to be able to provide to our audience, is insight into some of the things that they go through and struggle with, but understanding that, we're all in the same shoe, we're all in the same boat together. And, being in the community where we're able to leverage each other's skill set and knowledge and be able to provide that value so that you know that you're not alone, and be able to provide resources and tools like that. That's what it's about, giving insight and things that they could do to make their day-to-day better.
Awesome. As it relates to pouring yourself out, right? How important is it for you to actually to focus on you every day in order to be able to pour yourself out?
So you can't pour from an empty cup.
Absolutely not.
Right? And people say it. I would say it for years, but I'd be so empty trying to give everybody else something that I'm like bone dry on the inside.
Absolutely.
So now where it's so important is to have fruitful relationships, like with Phoenix, with you, you know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of like where I am, is as long as I have some people that are close to me that pour into me, and they see, because I'm a strong person, but I still need
You still need to be
support.
edified.
Yeah, and so that's the biggest thing. Now I started really going to get my nails done or going to get my hair done. Back in the day, like when I was really running, and when we had our restaurants open, I cut my hair so short that I didn't have to maintain it because I didn't have time to go sit somewhere for them to do my hair. So I figured if I just had it short, I could just wash it, slick that sucker down, or wear it curly, and just, now. But now it's long. I ain't got time. I can't even do it myself. Praise the Lord.
Yeah, and likewise, I am religious about making sure that the things that I enjoy doing each month, like I make the time for them. But that may be different for everybody else, right? It doesn't necessarily have to equate to, going out and getting your hair done. It could be taking a walk in the park.
Right.
It could be going in your backyard and doing some gardening, right? It's finding those things that we enjoy that gives us that time to meditate, if you will, or just do some reflections on where we are in our lives, and be able to just take a breath and woosah, right? So it could mean different things for different people, but those are some things that I do as well, just to try to get my mind replenished and reset, right, in order to handle the day-to-day stuff that comes at us.
And see, for me, that's kind of a foundational question that I like to ask women of power, because I'm a life coach. and I deal with a lot of powerful women. And that's one of the main things that I realize about powerful women. They spend so much time giving away that they don't even understand how to accept.
Yeah.
It's always a give. Then when it comes time to actually accept something being given to you, part self, you're oblivious to it, and because you're oblivious to it, now you're going around saying this never happens for me when it's really you.
You know, it's so funny. So, and that is so true.
I know.
Like, that's something, like, that's a practice that women that you're describing, like, we have to literally practice that and practice
Be
receiving.
intentional.
Yeah. And because I hate when I'm trying to give something to somebody and they're like, no. I'm like, shoot, God told me to bless you. Like, you got to take this. And they're like, no, I'm good. And I'm like, no, if the Holy Ghost
Don't
put it in
block
my
my
spirit,
don't block my
my
blessing.
blessing. Like, well, then drop it off somewhere.
Right.
But then when it's me to receive, I'm like, I'm good. And I do that a lot.
You're dead wrong. How you feel about, just think about the oxymoron.
Dang, you got
in
me
that,
feeling
right?
crazy.
Yeah, because
Everybody
you don't
that
want
tried to
nobody
give me
block
something,
your
y'all go on
blessing.
and bring it back.
Yeah, if you don't want them to block your blessing, but you're blocking theirs. Even if you have,
But I'm not even doing it intentionally.
that's the reason you need to be intentional about not being intentional about that.
Say it one more time.
You got to be intentional about not being intentional about that.
Okay.
I'm good with my words.
I know. Say it with your chest.
You got to say it with your chest. You got to put your chest in it.
Right. Say it louder for the people in the
Say
back.
it loud. See, game changer. But the reason I like to bring up things like that, like this conversation for me, it exudes what you guys are actually preparing to do. I just want everyone to be aware that being along this journey, marathon, whatever you want to call it, that Natalie and Phoenix is on, we're not gonna be very cohesive with contributing to your trauma and trying to make you seem like you're right. Right is right, wrong is wrong.
Yes.
Sometimes you got to do the mirror work. And the mirror work is important for everybody. If you want to be truly loved, you got to love yourself first. If you want to truly serve, you got to serve yourself first.
Yeah.
Because a cup that's half empty and half full is the same cup.
Yeah.
That's right.
See, here we go.
It's all about how you perceive it.
There you go.
I've
It's
talked
all about
to-
your perception.
I've had relationships with people that all they see is half-empty situations.
Absolutely.
And
That
because they
kills
see
me.
things like that, they're always like
Victim mentality.
Yes, they're always pessimistic about everything. They always see the bad side to situations. They never really see anything positive. It's always, well, I knew this was going to happen. That just goes to show you this is what my life is like.
And that'd be the first person to be like, so one thinketh, so is he, so is she. You thinking those things, right? So that's why they're happening to you.
Yeah.
And the thing is, a lot of the times, it's amazing that a man can get on the couch and have this conversation with you guys. And this comes from being involved with women of power and not having pride or ego. And learning to I accept the loss in everything if we choose to go our separate ways because I learned something from it. I could have communicated differently. I could have did this differently. I could have told you something in advance.
Right.
But people spend so much time, as Phoenix was saying, being in this victim mentality, they don't even truly understand the real journey behind being better at being better. They just want to be them.
Yeah.
And it starts with your thoughts and then with the words. Because if you say, well, this always happens to me, and I grew up in that environment, so I'm very familiar. This always seems to happen to me. Why do I always seem to be in this situation? Why does the universe seem to hate me? Why do I always seem to, it's always like, and because you're saying those words, it's returning right back to you.
Karma doesn't have a male or female. It doesn't have a right or wrong. Karma just will return what you put out. So for instance, this podcast, because you are giving the universe the energy of building up a community of women, those women are going to come to you in droves. When the floodgates open, they're going to open. The same thing applies if you're doing something negative. If you're, for a man, if you're out dating multiple women, you're never going to be happy or satisfied because you're going to be looking for everything in several different types of vehicles when you can get it all in one. Just get a luxury vehicle. Don't let that go over your head. But we'll talk about that later.
He gonna always drop it. He gonna drop something every time.
It's just in me because I'm one of those people. Action is a big thing for me. So I use the acronym ACT. Accountability, commitment, transparency. I'm always accountable for my actions, right? I'm always committed. I'm not interested. I'm always committed. This podcast, I'm committed to it, the success of it. And I'm always transparent because I can't be nobody but me. Everybody else take it. And if I try to be you, I'm going to be a subpar version of you because it's only one Natalie. It's only one Phoenix. So if I just be the best me, maybe we could be the best team together. And if people just were to just give themselves the opportunity to think differently, the opportunity to shift your paradigm, then you could potentially be a game changer.
Right, and
Amen.
I so agree with that. And I think it's important that you put yourselves in the right environment to be able to make that paradigm shift. Because the reality is there's so many platforms out here
Absolutely.
just about negativity, just bullshit, really,
Yes.
right? It really doesn't amount to anything, right? And if that's what you're flooding your eardrums with all the time, you don't really understand that there is a better or different way,
Absolutely.
right, out there in which you could live your lives or take advantage of all of the things that are at your fingertips. Because you're so caught up in some of these things that are out here that are not for you, that are not going to put you in a better position,
Not at
right?
all.
You get stuck in that. So it's really important for you to put yourself in the environment that you aspire to be in, right? If you're aspiring, there's a lot of women out there that's aspiring to be, empire building or builders, right? You have to make sure that you're plugging into the right things, listening to the right things,
Right.
honing in with the right relationships, meeting the right people, so that you can ultimately change, right, how you're building those roadblocks, you're breaking down those roadblocks to be able to actually get to the level that you want to.
Absolutely. No matter what's your trajectory, you can change it.
I think that people should live off of, like how you put it on somebody else that says, I can't hear what you say because your actions are so loud.
Right.
And I think that if people live with that within themselves, then they'll start getting the things that they want or that they're desiring, right? The greater things that they're desiring.
Right.
Because it's like, if I move and my actions are intentionally to what I want, then my words should still match up
Absolutely.
with what I'm doing. And that's the thing.
The issue with that is a lot of people, they don't have core concepts. The core of who they are, they don't have that. It's just, they have floating procedures. That's what I call it. They're this way, this one day around these friends. They're around these friends, they're another person. So it's like it's floating. It's nothing that is stable to their core. It's certain things that I stand on so strongly. Like, I stand on my square 2 I'm boxed in. I'm not moving. My core is not going to let me do certain things. I'm not going to behave a certain way. I'm not going to do certain things on social media. I'm not going to have a certain kind of conversation with you. I'm not going to argue with you. You don't mean that much to me for me to sit back and go back and forth. That's how I look at a lot of things. I'm not going to put myself in a position that I might not be able to get out of because you can't control your behavior. I'm not going to let your behavior dictate or determine what I do, which is why being along this journey with you guys on this podcast is so instrumental for me, because I talk about this a lot to a lot of women. And I've had several of them ask me, well, what are you doing? Now I can show them what I'm doing. Go and tune into this podcast. That is something that you can actually listen to and align yourself with like-minded women and watch what happens when you do that. Your journey will become a lot easier because where you didn't know how to use Canva, somebody in your group knows how to use it.
Yeah.
And they can actually show you how to get to the next level. But we got to stop with this, I'm so glad this victim mentality, this mentality of woe is me, this mentality of I came from nothing, this mentality of I have this mindset. It only takes you one opportunity. And every day we wake up, we have 2, a chance and a choice. Only thing you got to do is make a choice to change.
Yep.
And if you make that choice, you can be something different. I'm a living proof of it.
Yeah.
I heard you say several things, from being in a position where you had to be bankrupt, being a single mom, you being a wife, also being, because just thinking about that in its totality, being a wife and an entrepreneur is difficult because I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not a wife, but I'm an entrepreneur, so I can look at it from that standpoint. Being a mother with children in high school, I can understand. I'm a father with children in high school and college. I know what that is, being an entrepreneur, because we have to give money out expecting something to come back. It may never come back,
Right.
but we are investing in a dream, and the dream will never be reality if we don't put actions behind it, which is why we're here. So, being that we're here, we got this big black game on the table right here.
Yes.
I'm not going to pronounce it because I always screw it up. I'll let you.
Pursuitopoly.
Pursuitopoly. Nope.
What-
That's not it.
what is
That-
it?
Pursuitopoly.
Pursuitopoly.
Say it again.
There is a T in there.
It is. It
I'm
says
saying-
Pursuitopoly
But-
just rolls right off the tongue.
the reason I'm gonna go back and forth with you, because yes, there's a T in there, but the T finishes the word pursuit.
Not the word.
Opoly. So if you said pursuit topoly, it would be TT.
Or the word would be topoly. It's pursuitopoly.
Yeah. So whatever they want to call it, potato. I just
We
want
go through this every time we pull out
gotta
this-
do it. Gotta do it. I just want to first of all give kudos and flowers to you women for coming up with a concept that could change the mindset of anyone who utilizes. So if you guys are not aware, this particular game is kind of created after the game with the little dude with the little hat.
Monopoly.
Yeah, that game. I be trying not to give people extra promo on stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So, and they actually have everything set up. They have the dice, the cards, and it's built, like, what is the foundation of it? Is it built to enhance financial concepts? Because I see mortgages on here.
But no, this is the thing. This is everything that revolves around a woman's life.
Wow.
So every corner that you turn is something different. It's something that is something for your spiritual walk. It's something to remind you for family time. It's something to remind you how to collaborate with other entrepreneurs. It's something that shows you how to, like, it talks to you about, like, building your empire. Instead, we don't have jail on here. It's like, it's time to relax. It's time to go to the spa.
Yeah,
We
This
have-
is
instead of free
amazing.
parking, it's our triumphant milestone. So as we begin to grow our community, this is our way to give back. You know what I mean? So this right here is, you're going to get your ups, you're going to get your downs in life. You got your taxes that are due. Lord Jesus, the IR and the S will not
what?
escape you in the game. You hear me?
Man.
But this is really to talk about everything and touch every aspect of a woman building an empire, having a family, and she may not have children. Her family may be her parents, her
Right.
family may be her siblings, but it's a woman that's still having to be a caregiver of someone other than herself, right? A woman that has to reconnect with God, a woman that needs, so everything is here that represents.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and I wanted to kind of just call out a few examples because I know it's hard to read it on the board. But just looking at like the red section, right? Someone were to land here, you've got the financial district, you've got life surprises, which is our chance originally in the Monopoly game, right? Marketing Boulevard. What does that mean if you're building a business? What kind of marketing skills or tools
Right.
do you need to get your business going? An Influence Avenue. So all of those elements are things that we go through, right, in our business or even in our corporate life, depending on which, what you're doing, or if you're at home, or a stay-at-home mom, there's elements in this game that will resonate with everybody.
So as a man, the only thing I can do is just grab the dice. I shouldn't be doing nothing else. I should just be throwing the dice and then
I mean, yeah, but don't this ain't
this ain't that.
this ain't Vegas. Like, don't be trying to.
But
you
I'm
gotta-
saying,
it's just
though,
like,
you can't deny me from being a man just because this game is designed for women.
we are not gonna deny you.
Why I can't blow? I'm blowing on the dice for you. I'm not gonna move.
You be
I'm just
like-
yeah.
And then them dice gonna be all the way across. This state. But our game pieces aren't on here. But they're
No, because I just wanted to show the concept. You want to actually give it a go?
I want you to.
Oh, you want me to see? I don't.
I want
We're
you
gonna
to.
pretend like we got game pieces.
No, our
Oh,
game pieces
they're
are
the-
here.
They're at the bottom. They want me to actually play the game people when they so explicitly stated that this was for women.
Well,
But I'm gonna test it out for us men.
okay. So, what piece do you want to be?
Oh,
Like, you can
I
either
never
be.
don't want to be the high heel shoe. Are these books?
Those are books for knowledge.
I definitely need the books.
Okay, so we'll have you be
We
the
got
book.
books. We got a laptop. We got planes.
You
I'm
know I'm the
gonna-
books guy.
You
I'm
are
gonna be the coffee guy,
the cappuccino.
coffee girl.
I was gonna say. I was gonna let you modify it.
Since you have the heel out, I'll be the heel.
Okay.
You want to be the heel?
I'm be the
I should
stiletto.
have known that you was gonna be stiletto. Pumps.
Stiletto.
Oh.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so you know what? I don't mind being told what to do. So tell me what to do.
Okay. So go ahead. Grab
Did
your
you play
die.
the Monopoly game? You
I
know
did-
how to,
I did
it's-
play-
I mean, there's nothing more to it than just rolling the dice and
Okay.
getting started.
Okay.
Listen, you
then
got to
you
roll the
snap it.
dice and have it stay on the
Didn't I,
table.
what'd I tell you? What'd I
You
tell
told me. You told me. Okay, 5. So I move 5 spaces.
Yes.
Uno, dos, tres.
No, no, no. You move that way. You start from the lowest area
Oh,
of the
okay.
board. There you go.
See, this is the reason I said show me. What we got going on?
So you landed on Empower Her Express. Empower Express.
Okay. So what happens when I land there?
So right now, okay, so our Empower Express is like is the train, right? That's on
Okay.
here.
Where it take
So
you?
we talk. It took you where you're gonna be. Goodness gracious. No, but Empower Express is really the things in our community to talk about empowerment, things that we can do to empower either ourselves, our community, people that are connected to us. So that's really just however we want to talk about whatever is empowerment related is your Empower Express.
Got it.
Yeah, and for all of our audience, that could look different. So empowerment can come from books. It
Right.
could come from watching podcasts like ours,
Yes.
right? Again, it could be putting yourselves in an environment where you're able to really just be inspired by individuals that you look
Right.
up to. Yeah.
Okay, so for the sake of time,
We're kind of, we're going to go this way, kind of.
Yeah, I was,
Oh,
yeah,
go
I was
ahead.
got to say.
last time she tried to kick me out of the
Okay, so 8 puts me right here. That's investment aisle. Investment aisle. So, speaking of investment, I'm currently working on a flip, a house in Atlanta that I purchased and closed on a couple months ago. So I have the pleasure of watching, all the changes and being instrumental in providing my feedback and, looking how things are coming to fruition from where it was to where it is now. And, I'm excited about that investment and just being in that space. So investment is like, investing into anything, real estate, stocks, crypto, investing into, oil, like you name it. And
It's enhancement.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
It really
you got to
is.
go to another level. And I want to say really quickly because I know this house took you out of your comfort zone.
It did. I'm still a little out of my comfort zone, but sometimes you just got to put yourself in uncomfortable situations in order to grow. You're not going to grow being in your comfort zone.
Not at all.
One thing I love about Phoenix is this girl gonna jump. You hear me? Like she's like, oh, okay, how much is it? Okay, the financing is in line. Pew, 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 pew. I was like, she was like,
Go.
hey. She's like, I closed on a house yesterday. I was like, you just went last Friday to look at it.
Listen to me, ladies. One thing I've learned is that success loves speed. And
That's
the moment that you sit and you overanalyze a situation, you're really kind of talking yourself out of making a decision. So if it feels right, it looks right, the numbers in real estate
Yeah.
really is like the bottom line. If the
Right.
numbers make sense, yeah. And that's what I did. I just looked at the numbers and does it make sense? Am I in position to be able to move forward? And all of those elements gave me the answer that I needed.
She did too. She is my little Speedy Gonzalez. Pew. AJ, we need to do like a little pew right
Yeah,
there for her.
that's another sound effect. Pew.
All right, so I'm 3.
So you're on Innovation Avenue.
I'm very, oh my goodness, I'm an innovative person. I love invention. I love taking something that could be nothing to someone and making it something to everyone. You know what I mean? And so
Well,
this is a
talk
stretch.
about the tech company
I was
that
just about to say.
you're getting ready
The
to.
reason I didn't say anything is because can she talk
'Cause
about
that why not?
That's innovative.
Let's do this shameful plug.
Shameful plug. Women in
This-
tech.
Right. And you know what? And so, okay, so I come back, my background is hospitality, right? So I can open a restaurant with my eyes closed, event center, all of that is very easy. But launching a tech company, oh my gosh.
That's my background.
So I'm launching a tech company called Airtight, HEIRTIGHT, and it was born. It's a company that will store all of your life, legal, and business documents. So in the event of emergency or death, your family has access to that information.
Genius idea.
Thank you.
Genius idea.
But it was born out of need. The biggest thing I think when people want to start a business is, find a hurt and heal it, find a need and meet it. You know what I mean? It's like whatever is hurting people or whatever the need is for people, that's where you can find, a successful
Right.
venture.
Yeah.
And that was the same thing. It's, we had a loss in the family. My uncle passed away, and we couldn't find any of those documents. And so we just went about what we felt we could do financially,
Right.
And so, which came down to doing a celebration of life. We rented a casket, and then we were gonna have him cremated and put on the shelf, at our house. And then we found out, like, after we had the service, then his body was being taken to the crematory. And then his attorney calls the restaurant. We didn't know he had an attorney. Like, what you got an attorney for? Like,
Right.
But he calls our restaurant and says, hey, I saw in the paper that Andre passed. And then he said, I'm gonna bring over his life insurance, his will, and all of his stuff. But he did have life insurance, and he had a burial policy. And we were like, I'm sorry, what? We called a funeral home. I was like, I'm gonna need a refund. Because
ASAP.
go on and call this insurance company, because everything was taken care of. So we had to get him back from the crematory. So imagine if we had buried him, had him cremated, but it was totally outside of his will. But this wasn't even a distant relative. This is a relative that we would see every week.
Wow.
We never had those conversations.
Right.
So that's kind of where this company was birthed, because in our community, over $100 million of valuables are lost every single year because we don't communicate it. And so now we're gonna our goal is to bring all of that money back to our community, so that if there's a legacy that's being left for your family, then the government's not gonna get it,
Right.
or it's not gonna go away. It needs to go to the intended parties.
And that's the pleasure of being like a part of this. And for those that are actually watching and tuned in, when we speak about alignment and putting yourself in a room with like-minded people, I'm sitting beside 2 women that just had a conversation about an innovative tech idea and being able to purchase a home where you can call your friend and say, I just closed on a house and it's a flip. Most women are not having those type of conversations when they should be.
They should be.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And being able to tune in the game, change her, you will be able to not only get those valuable concepts, but get tools that you will actually be able to put in your tool bag to assist you along your journey. I think here, being one of the men involved, I have my trusted friend back on the board, AJ, as well. I think for us, the biggest thing is that we're not going to give any triggers to trauma. we're going to actually give you avenues to assist you with managing these things and truly healing and actually evolving as a woman. And I'm saying that as a man, and because I really truly just want to see a lot of healed people, because hurt people hurt people.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, yes. That, yes.
So with that being said, I
That's a
want
whole
to tell
nother
both of you,
episode.
thank you guys for having the kid on the podcast. I
he
feel
just-
like a
it was-
superstar.
Did he just sit back and
Yeah, you
throw?
see how I just sit back and just,
No,
It was
thank
great
you.
having you.
You
It was
sure?
great having you on.
I think
was.
Phoenix was
It-
kind of suspect about it. She didn't know what I was going to talk about.
I did. I said, you're not going to get personal, are you?
No, not at all.
You know, she was like, "I'm sorry. What's the topics? What? I need a list of questions."
Right.
Typical Phoenix. I need to know what you're going to ask me.
Right.
Why did you ask me that? That
Right.
has
Right,
nothing to
right.
do with Game Changer, sir. But yeah, it's been great. I think with this particular watching of us, I think people will see not only are we serious about our mission and our journey, but we also have fun.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, and it's a good time. Even though, I'm sober. I don't have any wine. I just want to say that before I go.
I think I'm sober too. And I
Yeah,
had
it
one.
takes, It takes more than one glass, but hopefully
It's-
everybody at home is drinking with us and enjoying the evening and having a good time. That's what it's about.
Oh, absolutely.
It really is about just having fun.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Coach Jarvis.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you. You are welcome back.
Sure.
Anytime.
Well, don't get too excited. We're going to give it a break for No, I'm joking. Don't jump up too quick. No, but thank you all so much for joining us. You can catch us on the Game Changer Podcast on YouTube and Facebook. On TikTok, we're at Game Changer Pod. And you can go to GameChangerPodcast.com to get your
Merch.
Game Changer merch. So, yes, he is wearing his with that GC on his chest.
Absolutely, proudly.
That's right.
But every Wednesday night, 8 p.m., we want to see you here in the lounge. We appreciate you. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And we'll see you later.
Take
Thank
care.
you. Let's go.